Hey guys, how are we all doing? We'll wait a few minutes as usual for a few more people to show up. We'll just check that everything's alright, make sure you guys can hear me and everything. So how are we all doing? Does everything sound okay? Everything should be the same setting wise as the last one, but it has been a little while since our last stream, so yeah, we'll just wait a few minutes. As I said, now this is actually 2 years prior to where the next episode is, but this stream is literally dead on where this morning's episode ended. So everyone who's seen this morning's episode, this is exactly where that left off. But obviously those in the creation team who are in here, please no spoilers. Obviously you know what happens in the next 2 years. That's only one episode, but yeah, you know a couple of events that happen in next week's episode, some pretty big events, but we're not going to spoil anything there. So yeah, things will be as they were before. We normally start with the Greystarks, don't we, when we do one of these overview streams, right up here in the north, but considering we've done that every time, let's go a little bit different this time, and I think we'll start with Southern Andalia instead. We'll start at the Southern Lands or the Iron Islands and go through that. So who have we got here so far? Hey Matt, hey Amir, hey Max, Rowan, hello. Wow, there's loads of you here already, which is awesome. Stacey, you're watching next, even though you're next door. Cynically Foolish, hey. Anyone? Have I missed anyone? Alexander, welcome. The Bright Lord. Wow, there's loads of you here already. Awesome. Hey Raz, glad you could make it. Hey Slidrid. Dawn Forest is independent because I think the North at this point were having some sort of war and they just didn't get involved, so technically they're not actually independent. Hey Flowers. Hey Rex. Right, so yeah, we'll just wait a little bit longer. We can just have a bit of a chit chat just while a few of us join, because we don't want to miss anything. We'll have a little look at Lister. Why not, while we're waiting? Here we are, 12-year-old King Lister, 4 years off of being king now. So that means actually after next week's episode we've only got 2 more. So maybe in 2 weeks' time we'll finally have adult Lister. That's pretty cool to know. Got some very nice traits here, as we can see. Charitable, temperate, kind, a poor fighter, brooding, and an idolizer, so it's going to be interesting. I think idolizer has already developed in the next episode, so I know what that's going to turn out like, but you'll have to wait and see, I'm afraid, guys. But yeah, 12 years old. Nice. Some really nice traits. Decent traits there. Much better than the last king, that's for sure. Yeah, the border gore's not great, is it, guys? But, well, actually, there's not actually border gore here because technically this is all part of the Lannister lands. I think it's just because the Lannisters are currently at war, so it does divide into the 3 Lord Paramounts while they're at war. So technically this is all actually still that land, and then there's just the 2 Stormland kingdoms. I've got a feeling as well, I think that Lister will have red hair. I've got a feeling that's going to be the case. It would be nice to get that Andor blonde hair back, but we'll see. Maybe we can go for a blonde bride so we can try and get that back. Oh, sorry, I'm just opening a can of pop. Just made sure that I've got my transfers in ready for the Liverpool game as well on my fantasy football. Okay, we've got quite a few of you here now, so let's begin. Where should we start? Should we start in the Isles, or we'll start on the Isles. Why not? And then we'll make our way into the Riverland Andalia, and we'll have a proper look through. Any requests and such, remember, just to let me know. Yes, that's right, Billy Ninja. This is after the episode that went live this morning, but before episode 2. But episode 2 is recorded. So I've asked the team members to make sure that they don't ruin anything there. Hey, Vac, welcome to the stream. So here we go. Let's start right over on the Lonely Light, where we have Lord Alton Greyjoy. This guy doesn't seem that impressive. Okay, he's drowned, which is interesting considering he's a lord, so his heir is Formir Blackiron. Okay, some completely random house who has sympathy for Westerosi gods. So yeah, there's not really much to write home about over on the Lonely Light, so we'll just come straight over to the Iron Islands. So Sealskin Point, which is owned over by House Farwind. Lord John, who's actually pretty impressive, but yeah, as you can see, not got much of a decent opinion of us, the same as everybody else over on the Iron Islands. I think there's only Lord Volmark and Lord Saltcliffe that actually like the Andalian rule. The rest aren't overly keen. I'm pretty sure House Farwind, yeah, this guy is actually the last male, actually the last person altogether apart from his daughter, the actual last Farwind. So House Farwind is very, very close to extinction, which will mean 3 extinct Ironborn houses, as we already know that we've lost House Drum and House Hoare long, long ago. So, yeah, the Ironborn houses of ancient times aren't doing too well. Down in Hammerhorn, we have House Goodbrother, which is still around. Not much really here to write home about. Ugly Lord, who's 6 years old. Yep. Pebbleton, we have our House Ironmark. I don't think they're canon, are they? But they sound quite canon. But I think this is a custom sigil. That is a pretty cool name. And these, this guy's not too bad. Over to Old Wick, where we have House Irontide, of course, from the Iron Isle custom series that we did a little while ago. And he's not very old at all, only 12 years old. Over on... There's not really much to write home about, really, on the Iron Isles at the minute. We have House Saltcliffe, who don't have a great opinion, but this guy's interesting. His mother's a Summer Island. I'm going to say he's got a nice tan for an Ironborn. Pike, we've, of course, got the Greyjoys, Lord Ofgar of Pike, who I think is the son of King Agar. Yes, King Agar, the great King Agar. Has he got the ship then that belonged to his father? Yes, here it is. And a Valyrian steel dagger, which is pretty cool. But yeah, the famous ship is still here. And wow, he commands 18,000 troops. That's not bad for just the island of Pike. Over on Orkmont, we have House Merlin. Okay, these are new. They must have replaced somebody. We had somebody else here before, so maybe another Ironborn house has died out as well. But this guy looks like he's soon to die. He's not destined for this world. Cancer, which seems to be catchable at the moment all over Andalia. Blacktide, we have House Blacktide, of course. Not much here either. Volmark, we have House Volmark, who, as we can see, actually have a green opinion of Lister. This was the guy who was actually a Lyanna loyalist when she was alive. Down in Harlaw Hill, we have House Pisswater. Brilliant custom name, but I absolutely love that. It's just a shame that the sigil's a bit shit, but never mind. And then up here in Stone Tree, we of course have House Harlaw with Zosha Harlaw, who isn't that impressive either. She is a Reaver, but that's it really. There's nothing really to write home about her. Nana Harlaw in our court is like a very, very distant member of the Harlaw family. Yeah, that ship is absolutely brilliant. Right, we'll start over in the west then, in Kennet, where we have House Dondarrion now. House Dondarrion of Andalia, a house I never expected to see in Andalia, but I'm not going to complain. I do really like House Dondarrion, especially that sigil. It's one of the best sigils, isn't it, in Westeros? So it's a cool house. I'm not going to complain. I know Matt will be happy about this, but yeah, pretty decent house to have. And then they have Turnbridge under their control, which is just a random one. This is one that I do need to replace with a custom house in the future. Maybe if a custom character becomes decent or relevant to the story, he can be rewarded for his loyalty by getting the lordship of Turnbridge Keep. I'm pretty sure that this lord as well has has somebody pretty high. Yes, a Durrandon. I'm going to say I'm pretty sure he had a Durrandon in his custody for some reason, who's married to another Durrandon. So he has 2 Durrandons in his court, which is interesting. Very interesting. But I don't think there's much else to write home about House Dondarrion. He's got a young son, Emmon Dondarrion, who's 3 years old, but that's it, really. These are quite new, so there's not much there. Hey, Lucian, welcome to the stream. Then over in Gravesham, we have House Coldwater. This was originally the land of House Unar, but then Lady Redguard usurped that land, and then she died. And even though she was the last Redguard of the Cape of Eagles, she decided, well, her father decided not to marry her, keeping the family name for some stupid reason. So yeah, so they own Gravesham and the Cape of Eagles, so we'll have to give one of them to somebody else at some point. And I'm pretty sure his heir is a Fen, which is interesting. So it's swapped from Redguard to Coldwater, and then House Fen are going to own these eventually. That is, well, it's just typical Crusader Kings 2 AI, isn't it, really? Let's be honest, just sheer stupidity. Over in Marlet Bay, we have Lord Jamie Mudd, who's been around for a long time. I think he got landed by Aengar II, didn't he, when he was very young, but he's still alive, one-handed, a lunatic. And he's imprisoned by, I think it was, yeah, Alysanne the Rash of Rushmore, House Red Wolf. He does have a couple of daughters who are Muds, so does that mean that the Muds are in danger of going extinct? Considering the Muds are quite a big house, we will have a look into the family tree. So, where is our current ruler? Here he is. His son had a daughter. He's got 2 daughters. Oh, they're married to the Highstars. Interesting. So his daughter married a Highstar, which is nice. There's a Mud here, Benfrey Mud in Shoreham, so that is in our lands. The Mud line ended there. They're married into Durandons. We've got a Mud here, John Mud somewhere randomly. So there is a few Muds hanging around here and there. Are these Muds? Yes, Will Mud, Zachary Mud, Cormond Mud. Okay, so yeah, there's plenty survivors of House Mud here and there. Ambrose deserves more love. Yeah, Ambrose was. He was a good king in his youth, wasn't he? If we're talking about that Ambrose and not Ambrose Red Wolf, that is. Where were we? Yes, we was in Old Stones. We may as well finish off the Cape of Eagles while we're at it. Then in Seaguard, of course, we have House Malister, Lord Barrion of Seaguard. Nothing really that interesting about him. We, of course, do have a Malister in the capital at present, who is one of Lister's best friends. I don't think he's one of the direct heirs, though, but it's still a Malister. It's someone that we could put in place in Seaguard if ever we need to do that. And then, of course, the High Lords of this area are House Red Wolf, sorry. We have Alysanne the Rash of Seaguard, who's 30 now. Wow. This is, of course, Ambrose's daughter, Ambrose, who was killed by Titus Erenstar, whose wife was also blinded and killed by Titus Erenstar. Oh, I do miss Titus. I really do miss Titus. I think she does have 2 bastard brothers. Yes, Dinah Rivers and Maiden Rivers. But she does have a son as well. Ellard Redwolf. Nothing too impressive about him. He's only 1 year old at present, though. We could probably try and get him into the capital at some point. So that's Seaguard. So now let's go down into Blackwood Vale, where we have Lady Pera Blackwood, the new Lady of Blackwood Vale, who's 16 and pregnant. Wow, so she's not messed around having children. She's really gone for it. She has her brother, Brynden Blackwood, who was the Lord, but he was overthrown, and he's imprisoned by Lord Piper, which is... Oh, no, he's imprisoned by Brynden, Lord Lucan, in Maidstone, but he's actually he's in the Pink Maiden Court for some reason, which is interesting. Who's she married to? A Goslin, a random house. Okay, that makes sense considering she wants to keep her family name. In Maidstone, of course, we have House Stoke, who, okay, is this a Dornish woman that he's married to? No, High Valyrian, apparently. Faith of the Seven, High Valyrian, who doesn't look Valyrian in the slightest. She looks maybe Roynish or Dornish, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? But this house, yeah, they're not really major players, are they? So we don't need to look over these as much. Hey, Uno, welcome to the stream. In Blackrush, we have House Burn, who are pretty the same as Stoke. They're pretty quiet vassals down in these new Blackwood lands that we don't know a lot about at present. My God, she's got a lot of kids, though. So this house is... Oh, no, he's a bastard. Rivers. Ned Burn, and then a couple of daughters. Nothing really to write home about here. Who's she married to? Mandrake. Nice name, nice sigil. And they own Fair Market as well, which is interesting. Next, we've got the High Lordship of the Trident, where we have House Vypren, Lord Arbut the Able of the Trident. These are new vassals, of course. Okay, he's an astronomer, which is interesting. He's got a daughter and a son. Bess the Moody Frog. Nice. Loving that nickname. That's awesome. And she's married to, another Vypren. So lots of interbreeding going on, even down in southern Andalia. Justin Vypren and Margell Vypren, who, is a bastard. In the Blue Fork, we have House Dirt, who are pretty quiet. We haven't really heard a huge amount from these either yet. So there's not really much to write home about these. Clarence Dirt. Okay, nothing too excited about him either. And they've got a daughter as well. And then up in Stilfen, we have Lord Cavan of Stilfen of House Greenhollow, who, is not overly impressive either. Another quiet house. But now we'll start getting to houses who are actually a little bit more involved in the story, so we'll actually get to look into these. It is a great nickname, isn't it, Matt? I thought it was pretty cool. Right, we have Harroway's Town, which I do want to rename to High Oak. I need to do that. And we have Lord Denis Rivers of Harroway's Town. He has been legitimised, so he is now of House High Oak. Yeah, he's only 6 years old, and he's the last remaining High Oak. I know Rowan wanted to know who his mother was, and I found out that his mother is a Redguard. She is the former Lady of the Cape of Eagles, so that's interesting. So he's actually a highborn bastard. He's obviously in the capital at present as well. He's being warded by Maester Damon, so I'm sure that he's going to hopefully develop into a very decent lord because of that. But yeah, there's not really much else to look at with him at present. He's the only High Oak really, other than he does have a bastard sister. I'm pretty sure that he had a bastard sister. Yes, Rivers here, who's also a High Oak, but she's not legitimised and she's still in the custody of Lord Coldwater of Cape of Eagles. Next, in Willowwood, we of course have Lord John the Unready, one of the most pathetic excuses for a lord I've ever seen. I do apologise, Amir. Oh, and he's got gonorrhea now as well, which is interesting. Scarred, he's dirty, lustful, slothful, kind, and he has gonorrhea. Lovely. What a fine example for a lord. And apparently has a strong claim on the lordship of Darkmoor, which is interesting. His son is a lot better though, Sir Enger Seymour, who's a Grey Emissant with 21 diplomacy, which is very impressive. A knight, trained fighter, diligent, just, ambitious, patient, family person, and kind. He has a ward, Stefan of Harroway's Town, just some complete randomer. He does have two sons, Pyron Seymour, who is betrothed to Princess Alice, who is also being warded in the capital by Pierce Snow. Very decent person to be warding him. He has 100% opinion as well of the king, which is interesting. I suppose maybe they become good... Are they friends? Yes, apparently they're friends. I didn't realise they'd become friends. So he's friends with Arlen Seymour, who I think is his uncle, and then he's friends with the king. So he's the king's future brother-in-law and friend, which is pretty interesting. He does have his sibling as well, Harris Seymour, who is attractive, but only 4 years old, so he's not started his education just yet, but he doesn't look too bad overall, to be honest. Let's go back up to John the Unready then. He does have a daughter, Leona Seymour, who's married to Sir Bath Rosby. Another sibling, Sir Carl Seymour, who is married to a Stoke of Blackwood Vale. And wow, they've got 4 daughters, so no shortage of Seymour girls. We then have Sir Norbert Seymour, who is married to a Rook, which is interesting. That could get a decent alliance for the Seymours, and they have a son, John Seymour. I'm not sure I would have named my child after my father if my father was John. And then there's... Do we look at Arlen? I think we just... No, we've got Arlen Seymour, who is betrothed to Delissa Anvil of the Vale. Another decent marriage. Oh, wow, and he's got very, very decent intrigue, which is pretty cool. Hey, Chris, welcome to the stream. It's a shame that you can't stick around, but it's nice for you to pop in. Hey, Brady, as well. I've just seen that you've just popped up. Yeah, he's got very good intrigue, Arlen Seymour, so he might be one to watch. And I think that's all of them, yes, isn't it? And then there's Jenna Seymour, who was born stillborn. So the Seymour family, our High Lords here, their line is very, very secure. There's a lot of Seymours around, which is good. Lots of male, 1, 2... Yeah, lots of males. 4 males, 4 females, so that line's pretty secure. They've got a marriage with... They've got a marriage with the Crown, of course, who we've just covered as well, which is awesome. Lord John, with his 413 men. I'm sure that gets lower every time we look. He does have his vassals in Wickham and Chiltern, though. In Wickham, we have House Hardsteel, Lord Agamor the Rash, who is married to just some random house, but he has a daughter, Gisela Hardsteel, who is married to a random Flint house. And then 2 other daughters, Aella Hardsteel and Malira Hardsteel. Nothing really to write home about. They don't look too bad, but they're nothing amazing. And then in Chiltern, we have Lord Wendell Stark. It seems so weird seeing some Starks down here. And wow, he's been busy with the children. Oh, okay, a Malister and a Malister. Okay, Lucy. Ah, so he's the father of Lucius Malister, the king's friend. That's where he inherited the slow trait from. That must be how he ended up in the court then. And then we have Joanna Stark and Addisane Stark. Oh, one of them's got weak. My God, Lord Wendell has some... He's passing on some terrible traits to his family. But that's them. Now we will move over to Wickeden, the High Lordship of Wickeden, and of course we're now getting into much more prominent characters in the story, such as Lord Yorick the Candid of Wickeden. As we know, he's Danis Corbury's puppet, pretty much. He was just removed from council in the last episode. 700 men? I don't think it was 700 Amir, I think it was 400, wasn't it? But yeah, Lord Yorick isn't too bad. He's a decent diplomat, but obviously we replaced him with Lord Vardist. He does have his daughter, Tilly Templeton, who is, wow, she's got a lot more impressive since she's got older, hasn't she, with that genius trait. 16 intrigue, 15 diplomacy, married to Marwyn Corbury, the heir to the Fingers, Danis Corbury's son. We've got Dalian Templeton, who is betrothed to Harmon Reed, which is interesting. Bradamore Templeton, who is yet to be married to anybody. His educator is Grand Maester. And Ryman Templeton, who also isn't overly exceptional. Is it Bradamere who is in... No, so I'm pretty sure that one of them was in Sevensport, but I must have been mistaken. But the Templeton line seems pretty secure, considering Lord Yorick was the last of his line. It's... oh no, it was Lord Yorick's father, wasn't it? It was the last Templeton. He's got siblings and such. There's quite a fair few Templetons around now, which is cool. Hey Albert, glad you could make it. How are we doing? Tilly takes after her mother. Her mother is Lady Jorfia. I don't think she was a genius. She's obviously a Shycross. I'm glad to see that those Valyrian features seem to have died out in these. She looks much more Andal, and the others also look, well, first men, apparently, which is interesting. How did they get the first man trait? Why are they first man, actually? Oh, okay, Yorick Templeton's a first man. Interesting, that is interesting. In Wickeden, we of course have House Redstone, who have been pretty quiet ever since Harbert was sent to the wall. And I've just realised that Harbert's son, Sir Harry of Wickeden, has actually died. I didn't realise he died. What did he die of? Died of severe stress. And it's now his son, Sir Bernard of Wickeden, who rules, who's a twin, has a twin sister. Nothing really interesting there. And then Harbert Redstone, who was born stillborn. So is the Redstone line pretty not secure, really, then, is it? Well, there's a male and a female. It's not the most secure by the looks of it, the Redstone line, which is a shame because I do really love their sigil. But yeah, they're pretty irrelevant ever since Harbert was sent to the wall. They probably would have been a very relevant and very powerful house if Titus had a won, which would have been interesting to see. Then in Saltpans, we have House Mooton, who haven't done anything at all yet in the series. I forgot that we even had a Mooton in Andalia, but I tell you what, he's actually a decent commander. Brilliant commander, direct leader, light foot leader, and a skilled fighter. We might have to have a look at this guy a little bit more. He's actually pretty decent. He's first man as well and worships the old gods. That's very interesting. His sister is the Lady of Witch Isle, which is interesting as well. Who's he married to? A Black Maya. Interesting. A Cranigman. Okay, so we'll have to call back in with the Mootons at some point and have a little look into those. Darkmoor, we of course have Piers Snow's bastard son, the founder of House Sweetblood. Oh, and he's had a son as well now. Leslin Sweetblood, who is a dwarf. Interesting. Nice. Yeah, but at least that line carries on, the Sweetblood. It's another sigil that I think looks quite nice. The 7-star colours on the Lancer sigil. Only 16 years old, so he didn't mess around having a child, did he? And he's married to an Upcliffe of Witch Isle. And then in Crabshaw, we have Mathis Crescent, the son of Leopold Drake, of course, who was executed after his part in the War of the Stars. And his son and heir is Gilbert Crescent, who I think is an imbecile. Yes, his son Martin Crescent is also an imbecile. So the Crescent line looks pretty awful. This guy, he looks very, very strange. He does have a brother, though, Robin Crescent, who isn't an imbecile. So for the future of House Crescent, they might want to hope that their actual heir dies. And then we've got Oswell Crescent, who's also not stupid and an imbecile. So yeah, so the Crescents down here don't look too bad. We'll take a better look at the Crescents when we go northward to their actual seat. We'll now get up into the Vale, where we have House Redfort, who also, even though I love the sigil of House Red... Oh, another Gonorrhea. Seems to be catching also in Andalia at present. The Redforts haven't really paid much of a part so far in Andalia. Hopefully that'll change. You never know. Different houses seem to come and go. He does have a weak claim on the Lordship of Crown Crag and not a strong claim on 9 stars, which is interesting. I wonder if he'll try and press those at some point. I know that he did have an alliance with the Waynewoods before Denis Corbury pushed them back. He's only got daughters, which is interesting. Are they married yet? At least they're married properly, which is fine, so the Red Forts won't die out, and she's in the final month of pregnancy. Oh, she does have a son anyway, so that's good. So the Red Fort line's pretty secure. In Ruffermont, we obviously have the final Aaron. The last Aaron, he's actually literally the last one now. We are down to the last Aaron, so hopefully he makes it to adulthood and has some children. But I don't want the Aarons to die out. And he's not too bad. I'm pretty sure in the next episode I do actually get him to Sevensport as a ward. Over in the Bloody Gate's not even worth looking at. It's obviously just a commander's post and we don't have anyone there much ever. And then we have Lord Benfrey, the Hand of the King, the Regent of Andalia as well, and the High Lord of the Giant's Lance and the Bite. And wow, he commands 16,500 men, so he does have a lot of power individually, even on his own. Yeah, STDs seem to be spreading like mad flowers at the minute. Right, so his wife is obviously one of the remaining Aarons, but all of her children are high stars, so it doesn't really matter. 46 now. Oh, I really hope nothing happens to Benfrey. He's probably my favourite character now in the entire of this series. I absolutely love Benfrey so much. In his treasuries, he picked up... No, he's still got his Dragonbone Axe and his Dragonbone Sword and a fine set of armour, which is pretty cool. How are his children doing? So we've got Della Highstar, who is married to a bastard, which is interesting. Why did she marry a bastard? That's just stupid. Oh, okay, but she was married to a Bloom before. Ah, no wonder they picked up the inbred trait. So her son is the actual Lord of Oldcastle now, the inbred Lord of Oldcastle with his 0 traits across the board, which is disgusting. Then there's Adron Bloom, who isn't as bad, and Randa Bloom. What about Benfrey's sons? I know they're nowhere near as impressive as him. He did lose a son, John Highstar. But he has Hugo Highstar, who isn't really anything impressive. He really needs to sort that hair out. What a mess. He wants to gain a title. Dutiful Commander, Hairlip, Quick, a Knight, a Skilled Fighter, a Duelist. So he's a good fighter at least. Cynical, Selfish, Wrath, Kind, and Brave. So he's probably a really good fighter. 19 Marshal. So he's not like the best character we've ever had, but he's a decent enough character to carry on the Highstar name. We've had much worse heirs in the past. And then I know that he did have another son who was decent, but unfortunately he's now become a Septon. Septon Brennett of Seaguard. And he has 2 daughters who are both high stars. We had them before he became a Septon. I'm guessing his wife must have died then. And he's also a decent commander. Attractive, strong, skilled. So it's a bit of a waste, really, that he's become a Septon. That's a shame. Then we have Karain Highstar, his other daughter, who is unmarried, and she's got pretty decent diplomacy for a 9-year-old. I wonder who he'll end up marrying her to. And Tyressa Highstar, who has the quick trait. Very interesting. So she's decent marshal, so we'll have to keep an eye on her in the future as well. But that's it for Benfrey for now. Let's move over to Lord Vardis of Ghoultown, who, for one lordship, the Graftons can call up a lot of men. I know he's only got 3,000 here, which is a decent amount for one lordship, but I know under his father they could call up like 7,000-8,000 men, which is insane for one place. But yeah, Lord Vardis Grafton, who is our current Master of Laws, he seems like a really decent guy, to be honest. Charismatic negotiator, a knight, trained fighter, fashionable, fat, a game master, patient, honourable, craven, zealous, kind, and a drunkard. So yeah, he may be a bit of a pisshead and a wimp, but he's ferociously loyal to the king, 100% opinion of his, which is awesome to see. He does have a son, Willem Grafton, who I believe is being warded in Sevensport as well, to try and foster that loyalty between the future Lords of Andalia. Then we move up to Runestone, where we have Lord Hugh of Runestone, who is married to a Corbury, which is interesting, but that actually seems to have backfired in Denis Corbury's face, as Lord Royce did turn down that alliance, and he is now a Crown loyalist with 100% opinion of the Crown, so that has massively backfired in Denis' face, which I'm happy about. He's a incompetent commander, still a squire, but he's strong and a skilled fighter, so that's cool. So hopefully we might actually see someone see an actual decent Royce in the series. We've not really had an epic Royce yet. It would be so cool to see an epic Royce with that bronze armor and lamentation. It'd be so cool to see that in the series pop up. So fingers crossed Lord Hugh will be the one to finally do that. He does have two sisters as well. Carine Royce, who's 21, and she's the one married to Harry and Firehand, I believe. Yes, she is. And then we have Scepter Pera Royce, who is a Scepter in Old Anchor. Okay, so there's not really much to look at. And then we've got Arnold Royce, who is, of course, betrothed to Princess Kyra of Andalia, which is how we've formed that alliance and that trust with House Royce. I believe he's also in the capital being warded as well to get better relations with House Royce. We'll have a look at House Royce's vassals then. In Grey Glen we have House Tollett, of course. Nothing really to look into much here. Yeah, nothing really that special that we need to look into. He's got a sibling who's a Clifton and a sister who's a Tollett who's got cancer. Great, that really is spreading around Andalia like wildfire at the minute, it would seem. Over on Witch Isle, not much to write home about. Again, we've got Lord Cormond of Witch Isle, who has a fever. He does have a son, Foreign Upcliffe, who also has a headache. Okay, so it's not looking good for House Upcliffe by the looks of it. We then have, I think this land belonged to Runestone, didn't it? Yes, House Clifton, where we have Lord Allen of Old Anchor. Nothing overly impressive with this guy, a duelist, but he's got no fighting ability at all, which is interesting. Just zealous, kind, on humble, stress. How do you pick up duelist without having any sword ability at all? I don't understand how that makes sense. Like, if you're not even a poor fighter, so you're an absolute terrible fighter, yet you're somehow a duelist, how does that even make sense? I've got no idea how that makes sense. His son, Sir Rickard Clifton, who's also a duelist, but he actually does have some fighting ability. That guy wasn't even a knight, his father. What's his son like? Lionel Clifton. Nothing impressive. Gilwood Clifton. Yeah, nothing overly impressive. Kyle Clifton. Oh no, decent intrigue. Decent intrigue. And he's married to a randomer. And then Gawain Clifton. So the Clifton line's very secure by the looks of it. And Morsair Clifton. Before we look at the next lord, I'm just going to make sure that I've not missed any comments. I've just realised I've been blabbering on. I've not been reading comments. I do apologise. Yes, we will be getting to Danis next, Luke. Oh, you didn't even realise there was a stream. I'm glad that you made it still. Yeah, I really hope we get to see more of the Royces. Oh yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed that, Mig. I enjoyed that POV. It was really cool to see from Vardis's. Hopefully we'll see more of Vardis in the future. I do like him. I see that the Seymour High Oak rivalry seems to have even carried over into the stream, which is hilarious. Alan's grandfather looks like Stannis. Was that Alan Clifton? Let's have a look. I've got to have a look now that Lucian said that. Oh my god, he actually does. Lord Lucas the Lusty of Redfort, even though he's a Templeton. My god, he actually does look like Stannis' portrait. He looks very similar. That's well spotted, Lucian. Always on the lookout. A true Stannis fan. House Saltsail for Lord Protector of the Iron Isles. Right, we'll go over to House Hunter next before getting to one character I'm sure everyone's looking forward to looking into in the Vale. We have Lord Raymar of Eastwold, who has no children and he has cancer, so it looks like he will be gone pretty soon. How are my children, the Shycross fan? We'll get to that, Flowers, don't worry. We're going to work our way up. We'll get to the Shycrosses eventually. So, yeah, this guy looks like he's going to die without children, but he does have plenty of siblings, so the Hunter line's pretty secure. This is actually the cadet branch of House Hunter that managed to inherit the actual lordship of House Hunter. We have the original House Hunter with Lord Andrew of Breakstone, 60 years old, a poor fighting duelist. Interesting. Seems to be a common thing throughout. And oh my god, he's got some claims, hasn't he? Weak claim on the Kingdom of Mountain and Vale. Weak claim on the High Lordship of the Giant's Lance. Weak claim on the Lordship of Heartsholme. Strong claim on the Lordship of Redfort. Weak claim on the Lordship of the Eyrie. Ah, yes, of course. I forgot about that. I forgot that completely happened. The Hunters actually did inherit the Vale for a very, very small amount of time, didn't they? Before Aengar II completely took over. This could very well be that same lord who was once king. So that's it for House Hunter. We'll go over to Lady Elena of Strongson. Lady Belmore, who's pretty cool. She does pick up a nice nickname in the next episode. I won't say what and say the reason why, but we'll see that soon. She has her... Oh, she's a duelist as well. Trained fighter. Frail. and celibate, so I'm guessing they're combined together. She's probably had some difficult pregnancies, but at least she's got 3 male heirs. Did have 4. Eldrick Belmore, the heir to Strongsong, who is betrothed to our sister Princess Rennie, which secured the loyalty of House Belmore. I think she has a 70% opinion, which isn't bad. Eldrick isn't too bad. He's being I thought he was being warded in the capital, but apparently not. We've got Robert Belmore here, his brother, who's pretty decent. And then Ossifer Belmore. Oh no, I've clicked on the wrong guy. Ossifer Belmore, who hasn't picked up much yet. He's only 6 years old. Decent diplomacy, but for some reason he's been given the struggle trait. The AI is so bad at educating people. Then under them we of course have Lord Joring the Cruel of Crownscrag, who was the son of, I'm pretty sure he's related to some of the bastards, isn't he? Yes, Daemon. Daemon Snow's brother, yeah, and 3 of Enger's bastards here, Eleanor Snow and Rennie Snow. He has a daughter, Elise Brune, who has 2 daughters, a Mud and a Clifton. Okay, so she married separately. This Sylvia Brune is the heir to this house, so House Brune could be close to extinction, which is a shame. And then over here in Moonsgrey we of course have the Green Stars of House Sevenstar, where we have Lord Osmond, who's only 6 years old. We've had a lot of the Green Stars dropping like flies lately, haven't we? I think most of them, died under suspicious circumstances. Lord John, and I'm pretty sure his father died under suspicious circumstances as well. Yes, Lord Oscar of Moonsgrey. And his father, Lord Tristan of Moonsgrey, died under suspicious circumstances. Okay, so something dodgy is going on in Moonsgrey. I'm going to have a look at the Green Star family tree, actually, just to see how far it has separated from the original Sevenstar family tree. And look how small this is compared to the first Sevenstar, the main branch. We have Lennox up here, of course, and then Master Owen, Enger the First's younger brother, who was the founder of House Greenstar. Been very close to extinction several times, but now they're not in a bad position. They're in the strongest position they've ever been. They still obviously have the Valyrian Steel Sword, the Stranger as well, the second Sevenstar Valyrian Steel Sword that came over with Enger the First. And now all of this land and these bits here all belong to this one lord, Lord Davies. You can see he's got an insane amount of land, 10,000 troops, but that does get more. It's just because he's only just took over some lands. And this is probably the most balanced character I've ever seen. All 5 in their 20s. That is just insane. It really is. A minus 11% opinion of us. Refused faction scheme. Unrightfully removed a councillor. Short reign, 5 from council, limited realm authority. So he hates us for lots of reasons. He suffered 2 stillborns, but then he has his 2 daughters where he's trying to get his claims and such from. Look at those traits. Dutiful. I know we've looked over him so many times, but I just can't get over how good Davies is. Dutiful commander, direct leader, a genius, a skilled fighter, knight, scarred, socializer, master schemer, kind, temperate, patient, diligent, ambitious, and deceitful. So he's actually got some very nice traits. I can see why so many people like him. Kind, temperate, patient, diligent. But then he's got these deceitful and scheming traits. He's also a socializer. No wonder so many people love him. And then, of course, he's obviously got Lady Forlorn. And he's also got an axe and a couple of books. I'm pretty sure he's got a lot of friends. I know he's got 3 friends. He's got Lord Benfrey. Well, that doesn't make sense, does it? Lady Risa of the Sisters and Sir Benjicott Sevenstar. I didn't realise he was friends with Sir Benjicott, which is interesting. His 2 daughters. He's got Corinne Corbet, who is married to Sir Belidos Shycross, Master at Arms of the Dragon's Den. That's interesting. So he's pretty far down in the Shycross line of succession, but he could actually become the Lord. I'm surprised that Danis Corbury hasn't done anything here to maybe try and remove the Shycrosses to put his son-in-law on the throne. That could be what he's planning, because he has got rid of a lot of Shycrosses lately. And then they have Zoa Shycross, their son, Alea Shycross, who's a twin, and wow, some of these names are interesting. Caesar Shycross, who is weak, and obviously the other twin. Then he has his other daughter, Lady Selene of Runestone, who is obviously married to Lord Royce, who we already looked over. And then we have Marwyn Corbray, who is married to Tilly Templeton, who's a genius, so they could have some interesting children. And he's actually not too bad, really, is he? A trained fighter, a squire, rowdy, diligent, family person, stubborn, and envious. But yeah, look at all that land that Danis Corbray owns. He's got Is that 5 high? No. So he's got the High Lordship of the Fingers, the High Lordship of Northwold, the High Lordship of Iron Oaks, and then the Lordship of Heartsholme and the Castle of Creek Castle. And then he has a strong claim on the High Lordship of Eastwald, the Hunterlands. So these two here, he's expanding to them. He's tried several times, and a strong claim on the Lordship of Crow's Baron, which is up here in Benfrey's land. So it'd be interesting if they go to war with each other over that. Yeah, I think Danes and Benfrey were good friends, actually, Johnny, back in the day. I wouldn't say they were so far, anymore, sorry. I think there's a good chance that Danes probably is a child of destiny with traits like that, because his traits are absolutely insane. Where are we going to next? He's got his many vassals. We obviously have the Waynwoods of Iron Oaks, whose lord was killed under suspicious circumstances. Someone who was a big problem for Danes, so I wouldn't be surprised if Danes was behind that. And then, okay, this lord's pretty pathetic, really, isn't he? He's not very good at all. No wonder he wanted him in charge instead. And then we have Erden Waynwood, who's not overly impressive either. In Hardvale, we have House Draxler. Lord Donnell of Hardvale, who's slow, so there's nothing really to write home about here. Raymar Draxler and Emmon Draxler, at least neither of them have inherited the slow trait. Up in Snakewood, we have House Lingrave. Lord Ryger of Snakewood, nothing really impressive here. What's he got in his treasury? A Weirwood Spear. Oh yeah, we've got a Thirstman here. Interesting, an Old God worshipper. Very interesting. Down here in Newkeep, we have the Rackes of the Vale, and wow, look at that diplomacy. I didn't realise Lord Horace had such good diplomacy. 25 diplomacy. That's insane, with his ridiculous hair. It's the same hair that Hugo Highstar had, actually, isn't it? Wants to tame a dragon. Well, you can get other ideas, mate, because it's not happening. Gruff diplomat, fashionable, trained fighter, homosexual, a knight, dragon dreams, fat, socializer, rude, honest, patient, and gregarious. His daughter, Jelona Rack, who is married to Vayon Rack, and they've had 2 daughters. He's got a son, Master. Oh, he's a stone. Interesting. Another stone, Malador Rack, who's brave, patient, arbitrary, temperate, and selfish, and Arissa Rack, who's got a very Thirstman look, and a Northman. Interesting. Up here, we're in Coldwater Burn, we have House Coldwater, the main branch. Nothing really to write home about here. Sunrise Keep. We have House Brightstone, who are very quiet, not much to write home about really, not much to look into. They very rarely get involved in anything in the story. Decent fighter, nothing else really though to look at. Ben Brightstone, nothing interesting with him either. In Midlaw Point, we have House Parron, a Westerman house, which is now a Valeman house. Also very quiet, don't really get involved. They were landed by Enger II. And then in the Smith's Forge, we have House Anvil, with Lord Leopold the Spider of Smith's Forge. He's not got much intrigue, so I'm surprised he's managed to get such an awesome nickname. Lots of children, though. His brother did die under suspicious circumstances, so it'll be interesting to know what happened to him. Oh no, his son, sorry. Then he's got Sir Marlon Anvil, Roger Anvil, and Athan Anvil, who has the mark, which seems to be going around at the minute with several places. Danes' son. Did I not show Danes' sons, Lucian? I'm pretty sure that I did. I'm pretty sure that I shown Danes' son. He's only got the one son, Marwyn Corbra. I'm pretty sure that we went over him. Marry Arissa. Who was Arissa again? I can't remember who Arissa was. Let's go back and try and find Arissa. Was that in Newkeep? Are you on about Arissa Rack? Because if you are, no flowers, it's not happening. Up in the Pebble, we have Lady Tanda Rosby. The Rosbys are still clinging on, and these seem to have kept the 7-star look more than the 7-stars have. Sir Brandon Rosby, a duelist with no fighting ability, yet again. Benfrey Rosby. Well, it looks like the 7-star look has gone somewhere. All the Rosbys have hair lip. I swear all the Rosbys have hair lip. Like, literally every single one of them. Oh, Lucian. Over on the Dragon's Den, we have the Shycrosses. We have Lord Damien of the Dragon's Den. His father died from a bad case of the flu, and his grandfather before him died at the Night's Watch of a natural death. Lord Damien's pretty decent. He's a dutiful commander. He's strong, skilled fighter, a knight, patient, gregarious, content, just, and brave. Really decent. Only 18 years of age as well, so he could get a lot better. Has he got the sword? No, he's not. For some reason, the sword's like passed on to a cousin or something, which is really weird. Yes, Mega Rack with the best name ever. She is still alive somewhere. She's married to Benfrey Sevenstar, I think, if I remember correctly. We've got Rogger Shycross, who's not too bad. She's fairly well-rounded. Melio Shycross, who's 5 years old, fairly well-rounded so far. And RL Shycross, who is slow. Looking at the Shycross family, you have the other branches here. Tilly, Templeton, the Templeton branch coming off. Then we have Sir Belidos, who's obviously Danie's son-in-law, with the ones that we looked over a minute ago. And then we do have this distant family members, the ones who did have Goldenfield. I think, I've got a feeling that this guy, Belarus Shycross, I've got a feeling for some reason he's got the sword. Yes, he has the Valyrian steel sword for some reason. But at least it's still in the family. Now we go over to Scorched Vale, where we have House Maiden still chilling, been very quiet and not really involved since the days of the War of the Stars, of course. Still a wildling. I love how they've still got the wildling trait and they've not moved away from that yet. That's so interesting. Trained fighter, just, ruthless, zealous, honest, and great. So we've got a zealous Faith of the Seven wildling. Very interesting. Piney Maiden, who is a proper wildling, as of course Sir Ragnar Maiden is still alive beyond the wall as a full-fledged wildling again. In Crow's Baron, we have House Steelheart, Lord Owen of Crow's Baron, he's got a son, Eddard Steelheart. Yeah, he's homosexual though, but he's had a son at least, so at least the family will carry on. Very good diplomat as well, actually, as well as a very good fighter. We could look into this guy. He's got a decent opinion of us. If he's loyal, he's humble, gregarious, brave, charitable and content. This guy might actually, I'm going to have to bear this guy in mind. He might not be a bad person to get up in Sevenstar. We could make use of him. I'm guessing he's definitely got to be on Benfrey's council, surely. He's got a son who's club-footed and a twin. My god, there's so many bad traits going around in Andalia now. And we've got Harry and Steelheart as well, who's a very good steward. Nice. There's actually some decent Steelhearts about. I'm just going to see, just skip back up and have a look at, make sure I've not missed any comments again. I do apologise. We'll keep it a mystery, Lucian. We like to keep these things mysteries, just like the murderer of Jonquill and the murderer of Queen Lyanna. Marry a Rosberry to a Sevenstar to get the blonde back from there. But look, we could do that's not a bad idea. But then I'm worried about getting the hair lip trait. Yeah, Ambrose's wife was cool. I did like Renna. That's why there are still a few Rennies about. A couple of Rennie Sevenstars here and there. Oh, hey, Jorman. I didn't even realise you was here, Jorman. Rennie of the Hill, yes. Now we're over into the Crossing Lands, so we'll start with the Errand Stars, of course. God, I miss Titus so much. I really do miss Titus. I'm just going to have a look at him just because I miss him so much. Obviously, his traits are a little bit lowered because they always do when you die. Oh, and one of his sons have died, I've just realised. So we've got Master Byra of Erenford, who is the very intrigue-focused one. Then there was a very martial one, a very diplomacy one, wasn't there? He has had a son now, Mai was Erenstar, who hasn't inherited anything yet. He's not got the strong trait. The first Erenstar to not get the strong trait. What happened to Gilbert Erenstar, who was a very good and competent fighter? He was unfortunately killed in a tourney joust by Engar Seymour. Haha, nice. Well played, Engar. Then again, this one wasn't the bad Erenstar. It's his brother who's a little bit more worrying. He has got a daughter, though, Melira Erenstar, who has inherited the strong trait. I'm glad that you can make it as well, John. Let's go back up. We've got Tion Erenstar, who he's the diplomacy one, isn't he? Yes. Who also has the strong trait because every one of Titus's children have it. And my god, he's definitely inherited that 7-star blood from Titus, hasn't he? My goodness, how Andal is he? He's very impressive, and he's got several children as well. He's married to a Blackwood, which is interesting. Eleanor Erenstar, Titus Erenstar. Oh, he's actually named his son Titus. Nice, I like it. And Marianne Erenstar, none of which have inherited the strong trait. Maria Dirt, they're quit and won't stab you in the back. Engri is ending Erenstar threat. It seems that he is. He's doing his bit in the background. In the Northlands, we have Lord Darnell Crowless, who is still alive at the age of 65. Looks like he has got the flu. Hopefully he gets over that. You'll have to wait and see in next week's episode. But I do love Darnold. I still have I still love the fact that even though it was against us, what he managed to achieve in the Battle of Old Stones was absolutely awesome. Still very decent. Unfortunately, his son and heir, Colin Crownless, is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. But thankfully for House Crown, hang on, he's got a weak claim on the High Lordship of the Farthest Field, which is interesting. Ah, his mother was a Firehand. That makes sense. But yes, thankfully, his son, Darnold Crownless II, who has 100% opinion of the king, apparently, is a genius, which is very nice. So, the future Lord Crownless is very impressive, and he's betrothed to a Malister. 100% opinion of the king. Is he a friend of the king, then? Yes. The king is friends with Darnold Crownless. They are of age, so that's interesting. And he's rivals with another Darnold, which is interesting. But, yeah, the Crownless line is pretty secure. Oh, Darnold's rival is Lady Cass Firehand, and he's friends with Lord Benfrey of the Lance and Master Edmund of Saltpans. His other son, Sir Carl of River Inn, he's pretty decent, very decent in martial, ambitious, a good knight, he's quick as well. He's got Martin Crownless, his son, who's not bad actually, and another son, Orson Crownless, and a daughter, Grenna Crownless. So the Crownless line is very secure. He had several daughters as well, didn't he? One that's died, and then 3 young daughters, all of which who I'm guessing aren't betrothed yet. No, none of which are betrothed just yet. Darnold is a G. Darnold Crownless is awesome. I'm glad that he's still going well as well. In the Crossfort, obviously it's still owned by Lister at present. I'm thinking of giving it to House Redguard so that they finally have a permanent decent seat. The Redguards have been awesome the whole way through this series, ever since Davos Redguard, the founder of the house, way back in Aengar the First's reign. The Redguards have always been awesome. I think they deserve a decent lordship. Now we go over to Misselwood, to House Rook, and I'm pretty sure that Rex was with us, wasn't he? The founder of House Rook, so we'll get to see over his house. Lord Belgrave, the Pegleg of Misselwood, 47 now. Famously called the Pegleg, of course, because he was obviously lost his leg against Aengar the Evil in the second Battle of Old Stones, fighting for Titus Erenstar. Lots of children, though, so the Rook line is very secure. Helena Rook, who is pregnant, having a difficult pregnancy in the final months, and she's married to some complete randomer, which seems to make no sense. She looks very Sevenstar. Sir Yorick Rook, who is the heir, who is an elusive shadow, homosexual, knight, cynical, authoritative, proud, honest, and selfish. Has a daughter, Manissa Rook. Then we have Sir Ryman Rook, who's a brawny knight, so pretty interesting. Will Rook and Tiara Rook. And then we have Lady Marine of Tumblestone. Okay, that's a decent marriage that they've managed to get there with the Tumblestone. And then Sir Maynard Wells, so he must have been a bastard. Yes, he was, so Lord Belgrave Rook did have a bastard. Now we can move up into the neck. Oh, well, Pegleg, it's an awesome name. It was. At least it's an awesome event, Rex, that you can look back on. I know Matt's very happy about it because of Aengar Firehand, of course, but little things like that are just awesome to add to the lore. Just little things like him losing his leg to Aengar the Evil in the battle, when Aengar the Evil, who was never very good at fighting compared to his father or his daughter, but then all of a sudden, as he became old and fat, became a beastly warrior out of nowhere. It was so random, but so nice to see. In Greywater Watch, Lady Sybil the Young of the Neck, who's not so young now, 35. And we were trying to work out in the creation team why she was called the Young. I couldn't remember. I know that she did get her lordship quite young, but I didn't realise how young it was. I think it was Chris who looked it up. And it turns out she was 1 when she got her lordship because her father, Lord Jonas of the Neck, was thrown from the Moondoor on the orders of King Aengar II. I completely forgot all about that. So there's nothing that special about the reads. Obviously, she did oppose the Queen Kyra in the war, but as we know, she was very young at the time, and it was actually her uncle who was her regent who did all that, and I'm pretty sure he lost his head, didn't he? I don't think he went to the war. I think he lost his head. But the Reeds have now recovered. She's got her son Harmond, as well as Daisy Reed and Jocelyn Reed, who's a decent fighter. But the thing I love about the Reeds is the fact that if we look in their treasury, they have Sword of the Sky. They need to give that a better name. We could probably look into doing that at some point. But it's basically a version of Dawn. You can actually get that in the game. I don't know if there's any of you others have got it. I know when I brought it up in the creation team, a lot of people didn't even realise it was an event. I have had it a couple of times now. I'm pretty sure there's a wildling in this playthrough that also has a Sword of the Sky. After Lady Reed, we have Lady Mariame, the Maid of Silver Reed. Interesting. She's married to a Coldwater. Ah, yes, so this is how the Fens are going to inherit those lands down south. A very, very clever marriage from the Fens. In Cherwell, we have House Marsh. Lady Marsh is pregnant. Wow, they're all literally... I've just noticed, like, that's 3 of 4 of the Cranagman houses all ruled by women, which is nice to see. Lady Brander the Just. She has a daughter as well, who's a Reed, which is interesting. Oh, are you married to a Reed, then? Interesting. So, looks like House Marsh may die out. Are you the last Marsh? Is there any Marshes left around? I hope there is. It'd be a shame for an ancient house such as that to die out. Some blame trees. There's a marsh there. Some black mice. So the Cranagmen have been do seem to stick to marrying Cranagmen, which I like. That makes sense lore-wise. But yeah, it looks like House Marsh is about to die out and be replaced by House Reed, which is a shame. That is a shame, but nice. And then over in Greycran, we have House Blackmire. So we do have one Cranagman house, which is ruled over by a man. Decent steward. Nothing really to write home about. No children. He's got a sibling, Mistress Barina, who is married to her Lord Mooton. Next, we've got the Lance, where we have Lord Benfrey of the Lance. Benfrey Lancer, who is an incredible character, as we all know. Definitely another child of destiny. But I know he's got that 39 martial and 24 diplomacy, which is insane. But Denis Corbury probably is a more impressive character, to be honest. I bet his stats add up to more than Benfrey Lancer's looking at it. So I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if Denis Corbury is also a child of destiny. They've both got to be, surely. But yeah, ridiculously good. His heir, Arthur Lancer, who is betrothed to... Interesting. Okay. Betrothed to an Ironborn who is slow. Why would the AI do this? Oh my god. What a stupid thing to do. So he's got a child with the genius trait, the attractive trait, the giant trait, a really, really impressive character who's carried on that genius gene, and he marries her to a slow character. Why? What a stupid thing to do. That's so annoying. He has another son, Robar Lancer, who I think is a bastard. Yes, he is. Then he's got his daughter, Darianne Lancer, who's also a bastard. I never expected Benfrey Lancer, of all people, to have so many bastards. And then he has his daughter, Elise. Elise, is that Elise? I am guessing that's pronounced Elise. Elise Lancer, who's also got the genius trait. Hopefully they won't waste this daughter. She's also got Valyrian features from her mother. They've got a bloodline. Interesting. So she is from a very noble Valyrian house, which is interesting, but she does worship the Seven. I'm not sure. Do they get a special bloodline? I'm not sure if they do or not. The AI is dumb as hell. It's so annoying. Down in Flint's Cliff, we have House Orson. I'm surprised that this guy's still alive, considering he was a lunatic, but he's also got gonorrhea. Seems like there's been some mass orgy or something going on in Andalia, and everyone's just passed on their STDs to everyone. We've got Polyane Orson. So he has got a daughter at least, so at least the Orson family should carry on. There's not really much else there, as he was the founder of the house, so that is literally it for House Orson. He wants to tame a dragon. Of course he does. Then in Cape Kraken, we have another branch of House Greystark. Who is he married to? Yeah, he's married to an Ironborn house. Incompetent, homosexual, trained fighter, shy, zealous, proud, envious, and kind. Yeah, Narsa Greyjoy, who has no idea why she's in Mistlewood then. No idea at all. Right, and now we've finally made it to Old Andalia, which is where most of the people are, I'm guessing, that people want to see. Well, we'll go to the sisters quickly first. Long Sister, House Longthorpe, still going strong. Nothing really to say about these, is there? They've been a very quiet house all the way through. Then in the middle sisters, on Sweet Sister, we have House Borrell, who've been here all the way through. They did have a very impressive lord at one point. But yeah, they've been quiet ever since. Then we've got House Sunderland, who for somehow are independent from the sisters now, which is interesting. It's very interesting. They've got some decent manpower. It would be interesting to see if the Sunderlands manage to get their High Lordship back at some point. Who knows? Maybe they could. Yes, give Benfrey Lancer a beard to make him look like Stannis. Good idea. I like it. And then over on Little Sister, we have House Snowfall, the last remaining member of House Snowfall, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, we do have a Snowfall here. Hofer Snowfall, who has a son, Belvazar Snowfall, which is interesting. They're not overly impressive. Okay, this guy's not too bad, actually. They are obviously the the line of Malira Snowfall, who was beheaded on the orders of Queen Jonquill of Andalia. Well, it was actually on Benfrey's orders, wasn't it? But yeah, if she were to die now, it would pass over to Robert Richards, as they are married to a member of House Richards. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that House Borrow did do that. That was when they had that very impressive, skilled fighter. I think he was a formidable fighter, actually, though I remember there being a really decent martial character of House Borrow at one point. Let's go back, actually, and have a look. I'm pretty sure... Was it Lord Wallace? Yes, here he is. Lord Wallace, sweet sister, formidable fighter, really good commander. And it was infuriating that he wasn't a direct vassal. It's so annoying that you can't do that on Crusader Kings, where you can't call up vassals of your High Lords. I think you should be able to do that. I've never understood why you can't do that, because you should be able to call up, like, Littlefinger is only the Lord of a very crap place, and he's obviously the Master of Coin for the entire realm, but obviously because of that they have to have Midlord Point as part of the Iron Throne, which is annoying for Border Gore. Right, now we're up into Old Andalia, where we've got Sevensguard with House Fulmond. We have changed the sigil, but we've kept the name. These are the current lords of Sevensguard under Rackes Fyrehands, and he's very strong. Very decent commander. He is homosexual, though, so I don't know if the line will carry on. He is married, though, to a Firehand a sister of Cass, I'm guessing. Interesting, that makes sense. Okay, so that's no wonder he's been given Sevensguard by Cass. Oh, what have I missed? What have I missed in the... Oh, no, I don't think I've missed anything too much. It is annoying that they don't show the combat skill of dead people. Everything just gets, like, nerfed when they die, which is really annoying. So when you look back at these, like... It's like when we've got the Legend and Heroes of Andalia on the server, and you look at the people and you think, well, they don't look that impressive. It's because... like, all their stats have just dropped massively once they die, and then if they had illnesses when they die, they drop even more, which is ridiculous. His father died in suspicious that it was probably John Frostfire. Yeah, maybe it was John Frostfire, yeah. Father's Ford, we have Lord Samuel of the Father's Ford of House Richards. He's the really good diplomat, if you remember. Wow, 28 diplomacy now. He's still going at the age of 51, and I'm pretty sure that he's the Master of Laws for the Firehands. So the Richards are in a pretty good state. Who's his heir? His heir is Sir Wilbert Richards, who's a decent diplomat, half-decent diplomat. He's got sons as well. Bernard Richards, Janae Richards, Ira Richards, and Harwin Richards, who's, weak. We've then got Lady Becca of Silverspear, who's a Richards, and she's married to the Lord of Silverspear, which is interesting. Oh, she's pregnant as well. She's already, she's had a bastard, which is interesting. Who's the bastards? Lord Leopold the Spider. So it seems all Richards like to have bastards. Pate Richards, did we look at him? He's betrothed to a Brightmere. He's gay as well, homosexual. Well, there's a lot of homosexual characters in Andalia as well, which is interesting. Seems to have become the norm, which is nice. Right, who else have we got? We've got our Lord Max of the Sisters, Max Richards, who of course is the one married to the Lady of the Sisters, which is how the Richards look like they're going to inherit the Sisters. Up in Silverspear, we have House Silvereye still going strong. The young Lord Edmund of Silverspear, who's ambitious, ruthless, patient, craven, stressed, and a squire. Yeah, I remember the younger version of him as well, Albert. I remember when he was first coming about, and it was like, oh, this is a decent diplomat. Looks like they're coming. That's not a bad point, Luke, to be honest. The Firehands have always been ferociously loyal, though. But, yeah, Cass the Cruel, as she's now known, does seem to be getting a little bit psychotic. Her intrigue has gone through the roof now, 27 intrigue. She was, of course, removed from the council, though, by Benfrey. She's also got the Torturer trait now and the Tyrant trait, which is interesting. She's obviously got the Valyrian Steel Sword. Oh, and they've also got a mace as well of the Father's Field now, which is interesting. She's got her sons as well, who we'll look at in a moment. Another husband here, died of cancer. I'm pretty sure she's got a fair few kills. Yeah, Sir Selmond Carlet was cruelly impaled on a stake by Lady Cass of the Father's Fields. Pretty sure that was one of her husbands that she killed. Zoe the Wicked was broken on the wheel by the orders of Lady Cass of the Father's Fields. And Lord Morebold the Fearless, who, if you've not watched this morning's episode, guys, Sorry for the spoiler here, but Lord Murbold Rack, who declared war on the Firehands to try and usurp their titles. When Cass won that war and got him prisoner, she decided to boil him alive and make some moose soup. So yeah, Cass is a bit scary. She's very scary, in fact, with that high intrigue and then insane fighting ability. Her son and heir, Sir Harrion Firehand, is pretty impressive, to be honest. Skilled commander, aggressive leader, unyielding, holy warrior, strong, knight, skilled fighter, a duelist, zealous, shy, temperate, erudite, trusting, and rough. That's interesting to have an erudite Firehand. They actually have a better opinion on other cultures and religions. Could we see a turn for the Firehand? May they not be so racist in the future? Who knows? I doubt it. It's only one, I suppose. His sibling is still a zealous Septon. Oh, but he also has the trait. That is interesting. Maybe they're becoming a little bit more modern, the Firehands, in the future. Who knows? Unfortunately, they had a stillborn son who was born with the strong trait as well, so that's such a shame, such a waste. Married to a Royce, of course. The Firehand line is incredibly secure, if I remember correctly. We'll look at the family trees when we're looking at these High Lords, these important houses. Some blooms there, some random house there, some blue Sevenstars, some Rackes. Ah, yes, because of course one is married to Joa Rack. Some more blue Sevenstars, some Crownlesses, some Rose Hearts. Literally married. This is why everyone in Andalia is so inbred at the moment. More Crownlesses, more blue Sevenstars, more blooms. So there's 18 living members of House Firehand, 29 members in total, so House Firehand is incredibly secure. I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy Cass Firehand in the next episode. That's all I'm going to give you to go off for now. And then, of course, she did expand her lands in the last episode. Well, she's expanded them. That's why, because she inherited Seaguard from the Red Guard, because the last male Red Guard, Lionel Red Guard, is actually the ward of Cass Firehand, which is interesting. But then they also expanded westward and vassalised House Blametree under their control, who is a first-man house, so it's going to be interesting to see how that works out under Firehand rule. I'm guessing it won't be long until they are converted. You know what, that's a good point, actually, that you've just made, Jorman. Yeah, maybe they don't mind first men, as long as you worship the right gods in their mind. Progressive Firehands are cursed and blessed. Well, it'll be interesting to see how they go. Yeah, it's a shame that it would have been interesting to see Cass Firehand go off against Titus. That would have been interesting. In the Rills, we have Lord Riswell, Lord Benjicott of the Rills, who is an Inquisitive Weaver. He has green dreams, ambitious, gregarious, diligent, deceitful, and charitable. It's interesting that we've now got another house with green dreams. That's absolutely awesome. And if I remember correctly, I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that he's yes, he is. He's friends with Lord Maynard Greystock, another skin changer, and green seer. So, he's rivals with Lady Cass the Cruel. No surprise. My God, how many rivals has she got? But I would love it if one of the Riswells married into one of the Greystocks, and we could end up with like some super green seer. Well, then again, Maynard is already a super green seer, but you never know what we might have in the future there. What are his children? I've got two daughters, who are both twins, but nothing special about them. I'm just going to go back to Cass Firehand because I'm interested in how many rivals she has. Oh, only two. Lord Benjicott of the Rills and Lord Darnold of Northland, and she's friends with Master Bennett of Seven Streams. And then up here in Withered Hearth, we have House Creed, who are only a minor house, but he does have a position on the small council. He's a very good fighter with good martial, but he's very, very, very loyal, as you can see, to the true king. He's friends with Benfrey Lancer as well, which is interesting. He does have a child, Sandor Creed. Wow. He looks so cool. I love it. He looks awesome. I love the tan, I love the beard and the hair colour and the skin colour. He just looks so cool. He looks badass. It might just be me who's thinking, oh, he's Craven though, which is a shame. But he looks like such a badass. I really like him. What was his mother again? What religion was she? Oh no, Black Tie. Oh, that's his new wife. We go to you then. Your parent was... she was from Mir. Makes sense. That's why you've got like the Tyroshi beard then. Interesting. But he looks awesome. I really like the look of that guy. Let's make our way over to the original Old Andalia then. Princess of Casterly. Right, well, it's an option. We'll have to look into it when Lister comes of age and see what we've got to work with. Elaine Josso of Whitford is still alive. Obviously, the old best friend of Kyra, still going strong. So it shows how old Kyra would be if she was still around. She'd be into her late 40s now. Wow, who's her ward then? Because her son is now a Septon. Her other son died and daughter died. Wow, the Jossos are not in a great position. It looks like a lot of them have died. How many Jossos do we have alive? 18 living members, but how many of those are actually Jossos? Some have married into Sunderlands. Some have married into a random house. Are any of you actually Jossos? You're a Josso, but you're a woman. Some Richards. A Sevenstar. Oh, House Sevenstar. Queen Jonquill of Andalia. Oh, of course, yes, her father was a Josso. He is dead now. We've got Cormond. Oh, some Fyrehands. We've got Cormond Josso is obviously on the wall. We've got Pate Josso, heir to the castle of Hagsmire. We've got Erman Josso here, who's got 2 daughters, Gretchel and Matrice Josso. We've got some crownless here. So the second branch of House Josso, who used to own the Crossfort, seem like they're the ones who are actually going to inherit it maybe eventually. Unless any of these have. No, Red Guards, Rose Hearts. Yeah, so it's literally going to pass from her to... It was one of these over here, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure. It was you, wasn't it, Sir Erman? Yeah, so it's going to pass to a very, very distant cousin of House Josso, who has 2 daughters. I'm actually worried for House Josso now. We've got Pate Josso as well, though. But I don't want House Josso to die out. They've been around for so long. I'd be so upset if House Josso died out. No, I'm definitely not going to unite Westeros. Definitely not. We won't be going any further south than we are. I don't want to end up with just the canon Game of Thrones borders, as it's just like every other series then where people just conquer Westeros. I like to try and keep it as realistic as possible when I think it would be impossible for a house to conquer all of Westeros without dragons like the Targaryens obviously had. I don't think it would be possible without it. Yeah, the Josso house is awesome, Luke, you're right. Oh god, and the beard jokes have managed to make their way into a stream yet again. Who started it? I'm guessing Lucian, more than likely. It normally is Lucian. Up into White Star with the Rose Hearts, a house that I'm also worried about. Okay, we've got a Stefan Rose Heart here. He's not. He's no true Stefan Rose Heart, is he? Who is the current Lady Rose Heart? She's married to Lord Leopold, who's in hiding, so she's not going to have any children anytime soon with that. There's 12 living members of House Roseheart. I'd hate if House Roseheart died out. I would be devastated. One of the original 3 houses. Well, 4 houses. They're married into Jossos. We've got you here. You're dead. You're the one who was killed by the dragon. We've got Lord Leopold of the White Star. So he's a Roseheart then, isn't he? We'll look at him in a second. There, Blooms. They're Rose Hearts. Okay, so there's a few Rose Heart males around at least. Thank goodness. Blue Sevenstar, Sunderland's, Rackes, Ronald Rose Heart. As long as we've got a couple of male Rose Hearts, I would be absolutely devastated if the Rose Hearts died out. Ah, so her actual husband is a Rose Heart. More into breeding. Great. Oldcastle, we have another one of the original 4 houses. House Bloom, Lord Offen of Oldcastle, who is inbred and completely useless. We looked at him earlier. What have they got in their treasury? True History and another book. Okay. Adron Bloom, nothing really that amazing about you. It's more your father, Lord Jonas's brother, who is the Master of Coin of Andalia, Sir Erman Bloom. It's a shame that he's not the Lord of Oldcastle, because he would make a much better Bloom, a true Bloom. Oh, Liverpool are 1-0 up. Nice. Sheffield United, though. Sheffield United have been so bad this year. They're really suffering from second season syndrome. I didn't expect them to suffer so much. Then again, it's such a weird season, isn't it? I suppose you're right, Matt. Incest is incest. We need to remember that. Right. 7th. Well, do you know what? We'll end with 7th support, actually. We'll skip past it for now. So let's go to Maiden's Gate, where we have Lord John the Simple, he's only 48. It feels like he's been around forever. How is he still only 48? It literally feels like he's been around for so long. Oh, it's 1-1. Oh, nice. Who have we got here then? Sir Harston Sevenstar, who's also slow. This is just an inheritable trait now, it seems, with the blue 7 stars, unfortunately. We've got Quincy Sevenstar, who's a zealous craven. The blue 7 star. let's face it, the blue Sevenstar's are shit now that Sir Lister's dead. The family is useless. The family's terrible. There was only one thing keeping the blue stars relevant and decent, and that was Sir Lister. Warriors Watch. House Morgoth, who came back from extinction. We have Lord Ellery of the Warriors Watch, who's married to a Reed, which is interesting. He's got some very nice traits. His stats aren't amazing overall. He commands a lot of men, but he's got some really decent traits. Chaste, diligent, temperate, humble. A lot of those virtues. Trained fighter. A decent lord. At least the Morgoths are still around, which is nice. He's... okay, so his sibling is Otho Lancer, which is interesting. How did that happen? So, his mother, Perelingrave. Okay, interesting. The Black Sheep Hills. Ah, yes, the Black Sheep Hills. We now have a new house. House Blackglass. As obviously we've taken this away from House Lancer now that they've got their own High Lordship and given it back to the Rackes. And Lord Warren is now the new Lord of the Black Sheep Hills. Blackglass is very similar to Black Star, so just a nice callback to the beginning of the series there. So Lord Warren, who is married, unfortunately he's not had any children yet, but hopefully he does get some. Is she pregnant? No, she's not pregnant, not yet, unfortunately, but hopefully that line does carry on. I don't want another Black Star on our hands. So yeah, there's not much to write home about him at the moment as a new character. He's very new into the series, so I'm guessing you've seen his traits very recently. It was either in today's episode or last week's episode, I can't really remember. It does seem that you're right, actually. All the OG houses are having some serious trouble with genetics at the moment. I think 130 odd years of interbreeding is starting to take effect. Lord Joran of the Bullseye of House Hooton, nothing overly impressive. Who's he married to? A Crescent, interesting. Galbert Hooton, any good? No. Squire, poor fighter. Domeric Hooton, nothing interesting. Lyara Hooton, nothing interesting. Malara Hooton, nothing interesting. So House Hooton aren't overly impressive. His sibling, is his brother any good? Sir Jonas Hooton, another character with cancer, and the quick trait, of course, because if you have the quick trait or the genius trait, you instantly get cancer every time, because this is Crusader Kings. Yes, you're right, Luke. The Blooms, Jossos and Rosehearts do need a combat generation. Since Stefan Rosehart and Sir Cromwell Bloom died, they've been so irrelevant. But it's going to happen eventually, isn't it? Yeah, I agree with you, John, what you're saying there. The Blooms and the Rosehearts are literally like the Valyrians and the Celtigarths to the Targaryens. That's what they are. They're very influential early on, and they don't seem as influential now. Oldcastle can still field a lot of men, though. 6,100 men. That's insane. I know it's a hell of a lot more than that they can actually field. This is actually, of all the Demences, just like singular Demences, Oldcastle is still the one Demence that can call up the most men other than Sevensport on its own. Other lords can call up more as High Lords, but not as much over one province. Okay, we're on to the Rackes now. Lord Joa Rack, inbred High King. Oh my god, that would be so funner. It would be horrible, but it would be funner. Lord Joa II of the Warrior's Way, much more better than the original Joa. And he's also got gonorrhea, so he obviously took part in that mass orgia. Dutiful Commander Quick, Skilled Fighter Knight, Scarred, Hunter, Wrath, Just, Content, Kind, Honourable, and Gonorrhea. Pardon me. Arian Rack, his daughter, unbetrothed so far. Morribold Rack, his son, who's got the quick trait, and poor fighter, so very decent, named after his late boiled grandfather. He is also friends with the king, which is nice. And then he's got another son, Medgar Rack, who's not really done anything just yet. Looks like he's got some intrigue there. He's only 5 years old, though, so he will get more impressive. We will check in on House Rack, as it is one of the High Lords. They've got 17 living members, apparently, which is good. We've obviously got Mega Rack. Here she is. Here's old Mega Rack, now 34, married to Enga. Oh no, her son is Enga Sevenstar and Roman Sevenstar, sorry, of the Owenhold Sevensstars. We've got the Janna Rack, who's married to the Rooks. We've got, obviously, Samwar Rack, who are the Racks of the Vale. Here's the Racks of the Vale line. Some Racks married to Blooms. Racks married to Redguard. So the Rack line is pretty secure, thankfully. Just Joe has got 2 sons, so it's pretty secure there. And then there's the Rackes at the Vale. So the Rackes are very secure, which is good. It's nice to see. Obviously, this is not its own High Lordship anymore, but we'll go over them. These are all now part of Greyhold. Obviously, Hornwood got the Bullseye for loyalty towards Lyanna. They got rewarded with the Bullseye. I was originally going to give them 2, but it worked out nicer to give them the Bullseye and the Greystarks the other 3, because it's more northern territory, and it just made the border just smooth off a lot nicer. So we'll go to Wolfswatch next, where we have House Sevenstar, Lord Theobald of Wolfswatch, who's a shrewd knight. Okay, so pretty interesting. Charitable, brave, temperate, diligent, and zealous. Just shows how many of these nice traits actually don't improve your stats that well. He's the son of Lord Harrion Sevenstar, who was the one trying to kill Lyanna but died before. He's got a son who we've got, Quent Sevenstar. Nothing impressive at all. He's only 0 years old, so there's still time. And Sorella Sevenstar, who has the flu. How well is the Sevenstar? There's only 7 living members. There's only been a total of 16 members of House Sevenstar. That is so little, considering how long the Sevenstar have been around. And which... his friend's sister. Which friend are we talking about, Flowers? I suppose it would just depend on how high-born they are. Oh my god, that is so disgusting, but so epic, Seneca. I love that. I could imagine Cass doing that as well. I really could imagine Cass doing that. She did have half the Rack family imprisoned after she killed Moribald. Oh my god, feeding the Rackes Moribald stew. Oh, that is... I love it. It's just like the mountain and what he did with Vargo Hope. I love it. We're on to House Brightmere now, where we have Lord Colmore. Oh, that's disgusting. I love it. Lord Colmore of High Point. The Brightmires are very secure. He's got many children. Nothing overly impressive himself here. Hopefully some of his children are better. We've got Lady Lacey of Gancliffe, who's married to an Oxter. So nearby we have Sir Benjicott Brightmire, the heir to High Point, who's very good intrigue-wise. Trained fighter and a knight as well. Just, family person, brave, envious, deceitful, wounded. Tyshara Brightmere, who is married to a Crescent. I love the Tash. Wow, he's a skilled fighter though. I don't even know who this Crescent is. I've never seen him before. And then we have Garwin Brightmere, who's got very good intrigue for a 12-year-old. 12 intrigue. Squire. Hairlip. How has he got such good intrigue? He's got no intrigue traits at all. But yeah, the Brightmeres are pretty secure. 16 living members out of 23 total members, so not bad at all. Yes, finally secure, John. They've been so close to extinction. Then we have, in the Dreadfort, we have Lady Jessamine of the Dreadfort, the daughter of Belvazar the Brilliant, the granddaughter of Lord Theon, the Hammer of Eastwatch, one of my favourite characters in the series all the way through. Wow, she's still... Wow, 7,000. She still commands 7,000 men. That is a lot of manpower. Grey Innocence, attractive, just, kind, ambitious, family person, diligent, depressed, and stressed. Oh, depressed and stressed, that's not good. And, okay, she's betrothed to another... Oh my gosh, she's 23 and betrothed to a 10-year-old. Why does the game do this? You need to start getting some heirs. Thankfully, I'm pretty sure that her heir, who is her cousin, Robin Bolton, who is a genius, and wow, very impressive. 20, 12, 12, 13, 13, very impressive. She's really secured the Bolton line for the future, because the Boltons were very close to extinction. But we've got Torren Bolton, Wyman Bolton, and Malric Bolton. I'm surprised we've got no Theon or Belvazar Boltons. That's strange to see. But yeah, the Boltons are pretty secure now. We've got 10 living members of House Bolton, which is nice to see. Yeah, they probably are. Frosty Shore, we have Lord Harston of Frosty Shore. Who's he imprisoned by? Imprisoned by Lord Maynard the Skin Changer. I wonder why. Skilled fighter. What's he got in his treasury? Oh, interesting. Just a couple of books. Incompetent Steward, Skilled Fighter, a Knight, Scarred, Sympathy for Eastern Gods. Interesting. A Duelist, Diligent, Craven, Ambitious, Gregorious, and a Drunkard. He does have a son as well, Sir Arlen Oxtock, who, wow, has got a hell of a lot of children. He's got a brother as well, Sir Garrett Oxter, who is a member of the Night's Watch. A giant as well, which is interesting, and a decent fighter. Then in Lunar Woods, we have Lady Meline Crescent, I think one of the only survivors of Aengar II's reign, along with a couple of others like Darnold Crowner, still going strong. She's been around for such a long time. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. It probably was associated with the war, so it wouldn't be a good idea to do it. But then again, it didn't stop the Erinstars naming one of their children Titus. That's not the... That reminds me a little bit of when Bronn names Loris's bastard Tyrion. I love that. That was so hilarious. Yeah, but it's great to see that she's still alive. We've pretty much covered most of the Crescents. Obviously, Lord Mathis, who's the Lord down south. And then we've got Marwyn Crescent, who is going to... oh, wow. Formidable fighter. Awesome. And he's the father of the guy with the cool tash. But yeah, Marwyn Crescent will be the Crescents of Lunar Woods when the old lady finally dies. And Galbert will get the Southern Lands. But wow, yeah, formidable fighting duelist who's in hiding, unfortunately. I didn't realise he'd become such a good fighter. This is the right line for the Crescents and not the other line, which is very, very questionable and dodgy. And this guy's a skilled fighter as well, so... the Valyrian-looking line of the House Crescent is actually pretty decent. Right, now we've got a Greyhold. Finally, the last stop. Lord Maynard, the Skin Changer of the Grey Cliffs, who's awesome. I want him to do something in the series. I want him to, like, just pop up. And yeah, you're actually right. He has 5,000 men if he calls up all his, like, High Lordships. But the Boltons have 7,000 on their own, which is... that's interesting how he can only call up 5,000. Is he having some sort of trouble with his vassals, maybe? Surely he should be able to call up more than that. And then he's got his wife, who is Eleanor Rack. They absolutely hate each other as she's... oh, no, she's not zealous. I thought she was zealous. She must have lost the zealous trait. She was zealous. She definitely was a zealous faith of the Seven Worshipper. Very insane intrigue and learning. Obviously has his pet whale, his wolf, and his brown bear. He did have his crow, which we think the wolf might have ate. His green dreams, trained fighter. I want him to hurry up and have a child so that can marry a Riswell. Oh, and he's got Roman Sevenstar, our cousin, as his ward, which is interesting. It's an interesting choice to send him to a First Men. The Greystarks living close to the edge, as always, with going out to extinction. But they've done that ever since Brandon, the first Greystark, so he needs a better beard. Yeah, it's not the best beard. It's that horrible chin strap one that the game gives them now and again. Oh, and of course we've got Bear Island, but there's nothing really up here. House Seagrain also has gonorrhea. Nice. So that's all of Andalia. Let's have a look at other stuff in Andalia. Diplomatic relations. What are they like over Andalia? Pretty good on the whole. It's all green, which is good. Some light greens, but it's all green, which is nice. Religions. The old gods. Okay, that's interesting. So these two have converted to faith of the Seven, but the actual main seat of this is still old gods. The Krennic men are still old gods, which I'm happy about. I want them to stay old gods. All the Vale, most of the south is now old gods. Some of the Westerlands still old gods. Blackmont still old gods. And then, of course, all the north still old gods, as well as the Riswell lands. Cultures, pretty much Andal Northmen all the way across here. And then Northmen up here. Krennic men, Vale men, First men, and River men. Yeah, still got very, very, very good trading around here. A very good economy. I don't think we've got much risk of revolts. Oh no, apparently in the Josso lands we've got a bit of a risk. And we have down here as well in Children, which is interesting. Oh yeah, we do need to go back to Sevenstar, as if I actually forgot the main bit. And I'm just going to check on the heir of Maynard, and it is his cousin, Charisse Greystark, who does have 2 children, who are Rackes, Benfrey Rack and Ella Rack. Ah, so they married Septon Benjicott of Hightree. Interesting. So that's 2 marriages with the Rackes, which is a bit crazy. We'll have a quick look to the Far Winds quickly before going to Sevenstar. His daughter, Winifred. No, she only has the eagle still. She's married to a Red Wolf bastard, which is interesting. So the Far Winds are going to die out because she's decided to marry a bastard normally, which is sheer stupidity as always. And here we go. Let's go back to Sevenstar. Who was your house, pal? Who? So I can see who I've missed out. I do apologise. So yeah, we've got Lister. We'll have a little look through. Obviously, Kyra, who's betrothed to the Royce Lord, who's pretty decent. Yes, Black Rackes. The Black Rackes. You can't marry a Septon. Yeah, so I know you can't, but for some reason it seems like they've had children. Surely they'd be bastards if they weren't married, though. That's what doesn't make sense. I noticed it happened with... Who was it earlier on that we went to? Highstar, their second child. They weren't married, but their children aren't bastards, which is strange. We have Princess Rennie of Andalia, who is betrothed to Eldrick Belmore. She's pretty decent. Then we have Lister, who we've already looked over. Then we have Princess Alice Sevenstar, who's betrothed to Pyron Seymour. She's pretty decent martial-wise. Her guardian's Pierce Snow, the perfect person. Then we have Prince Enger, who's cynical, brooding, and a poor fighter. Decent intrigue. And then we have Prince Owen, the youngest of Lyanna's brood that are still living. Obviously, she suffered those 3 stillborns as well as 2... Wow, she lost 5 children. My God, I don't know how that woman didn't give up. In our court, let's have a look who we've still got in court then. We've got a lot of people. Ah, yes, House Darkblade. We'll get to them. Well, we will go through the Baron houses of note. We've got Rackes Fyrehands still here in court, who's obviously a distant member of House Firehand, who's a very decent steward and commander. We have Quentin Botley, who's decent here as well, a very decent commander. We have his wife, Ashara Botley. Oh, no, it's a different Botley. Who else do we have? We have Victarion Reef, who's one of the new custom houses from you guys. I think, was it Johnny's character, Reef? I'm pretty sure he was. Yes, Faith of the Seven one. I'm pretty sure that's Johnny's character. We have Benjicott, our uncle, who is married to Mega Rack. He, of course, has his 2 sons, Enger Sevenstar, who's a decent fighter and a squire. He's also brave, temperate, and diligent. And his other son, Roman, who was being warded by Maynard, of course. We also have... Who else do we have here in our court? Let's have a little look. A lot of these aren't really relevant. We have Skype Saltworm, who I think was Raz's character. I'm pretty sure. Was that Raz's character? I'm pretty sure that it was. Or am I mixing that up with the other one? We've got 3 Ironborn custom houses, haven't we, in court at present? This guy's a flamboyant schemer, a ravager, a skilled fighter, quick, a duelist, deceitful, ambitious, and ruthless. Has he had any children yet? Yes, he's had a son, Ragnar Saltworm, who's not picked up anything yet other than intrigue. And then I know that there's one more somewhere. We do have a Tool Heart, Jocelyn Tool Heart, which is interesting. Melora, Harlaw, Keller, Botley, just lots of children. I know that most of them don't have anything, and they did come up in this morning's episode as well. We have Nana Harlaw, who's obviously epic, very impressive. She looks so cool as well. I do like what she's wearing here. Look at that with a spear. But the most impressive thing, of course, is the fact that she's got 2 Valyrian steel swords. So, in law, of course, she's got to dual wield them. Ah, yes, Salt Sail was yours, Raz, of course. Yes, yes. I'm getting mixed up. The other one was somebody else from the Discord. All 3 were from the Discord. Where else? Who else have we got? Damon Sevenstar, our Maester, of course, who we've not looked over yet, with his incredible 41 learning and his incredible epic treasury with all of his awesome links and other crazy stuff from his travels. Pia Sweetblood, who's still alive. Pia the Vixen, 45 now. So Kyra would have been 45 then if she was still alive, because I didn't realise until going back to work on the timeline that Pia and Kyra were actually born on the exact same day, which is really cool and adds even more to that rivalry that they had. That makes so much sense, because obviously if Pia were trueborn, she'd have been it could have been her who was the heir instead of Kyra. Formidable fighter as well, which is awesome. Who else have we got? We've got a Darry in our court, which is interesting. A Malister of Viperin, Donald Crownless, John Hornbreaker, who's got his 2 twin sons. He's become a commander now and a bodyguard. I think that was Baron's character if he's here watching. He normally watches the streams. Belgrave Hornbreaker, Strong, and Garibold Hornbreaker. Where's Salt Sail then? He should be here somewhere. Raz, I'll find him eventually. I'm guessing near the bottom because we're actually looking for him. That normally seems to be what happens when you look for people. I'm pretty sure that I've seen one of his Sybil Stark, still alive. the late wife of King Aengar II. I can't believe she's still going. All her trueborn children are dead now. Her granddaughter Jonquill obviously dead, but obviously she is the grandmother of the current king. Where is Saltsail? Here he is, Yorion Saltsail, still alive, and he hasn't had any children just yet. But hopefully he look, that scar is epic. I love that scar. I love how he doesn't wear an eye patch. It looks awesome. And that's everybody in court. We will look over a couple of these people who are vassals, though, that we didn't get to yet. So let's have a look for some of those, such as the Mendletons, who are still alive. Master Malinaro of Sevensport, still ruling there. His sibling was Roman Sevenstar, who's obviously on the wall. What other vassals have we got? I'm trying to think what other vassals are, what other barons and landed knights are around still of houses. I know that there's a couple that we haven't checked over that I can think of. I know that we've got the Aldermans under the Fyrehands. We've got the Dorries under the, I think it was under the Seaguards. I can't set any marriages up right now as anything. Well, I could, but it wouldn't. The next episode is already recorded, unfortunately. So anything we do now would be irrelevant. But I can look into it afterwards. The wiki isn't very complete at all. I really need to work on it when I get time. Same was in the creation team. We keep meaning to do work on it, but we haven't got round to doing much. Some little bits have been added. I know Lucian and Amir have added some little bits and bobs to it. I think Flowers is adding some bits to it as well at present. If we go over, I think it was the vassals of Sevensguard. No, so where has House Darkblade gone now then? Because they were a vassal of Sevensguard, but of course, upon the person's death, it just completely transfers to someone else. In Barrington, her vassals, we have House Alderman, which is still going around. Terence Alderman does have two sons, Bymar Alderman and Gilwood Snow, a bastard. Interesting. We'll go on the Find Characters and look for the Darkblades then, because they should be around somewhere. Dark. Apparently not. Search. Oh, here they are. There's loads and loads of them. There's loads of Darkblades, but for some reason they're down in the Red Dunes of Dawn. How on earth did they end up down there? Oh my god, and this guy is so good as well. Dathin Darkblade. He's very impressive. He's down in the Vaiflands in the desert for some reason. I'm going to have to take a picture so I remember to get this guy back home, because he's very, very impressive. I want to get him back home and landed, because they've been around for a very, very long time. Are any of these other ones any good? We've got Raymond, who's a trained fighter. I definitely got to get this guy back, though. Davin Darkblade. Get him married to someone and get him landed in Andalia. That's pretty much everyone in Andalia, though. We can look at some of the other characters if you guys want to see them. Yeah, they're now Desert Knights, which is interesting. We've got Queen Barina of the North, of the Starks. The Starks are very much on their last legs, I think. Apparently they've got 18 living members. I know a lot of those are not actually Starks. A lot of them are into different families now, as we can see. Ambrose Redwolf, for example. And yeah, there's not actually that many male Starks around. The Umbers are still ruling in last half, which is good. It's good to see these houses haven't died out. We've still got the Glovers as well. And all the Hill Clansmen, a lot of them. Oh, we've got the Kerwins up there. And House Knott still about. House Crow, for some reason, are ruling now in the actual north. House Flint. The Night's Watch will, of course, look up, because we've got Lord Commander Belvazar the Brilliant with his amazing 32 diplomacy. Still kicking. Still doing well. It's nice to see that he's done well. And managed to he's managed to actually achieve some honour and redeem himself. Belvazar the Second Bolden, he also lost an eye like Fionn, he was obviously slain by Davos Redguard, if you remember. He was actually quite decent, but yeah, he was slain in personal combat by Sir Davos of Sevensguard in the year 66-62. So long ago. And then obviously Lord Theon, the Hammer of Eastwatch, who was killed in personal combat against some wildlings, and then Lord Commander Belvazar the Brilliant. There's still a lot of people at the Night's Watch. Beyond the Wall has been united pretty much now, other than this tiny bit here. I know, it's so sad, isn't it, for Sybil? How she's managed to live that long with losing everything. I feel so sorry for her. Just like I felt so sorry as well for Kyra's husband, who lost Kyra and then lost Jonquill, his daughter, and then he actually drank himself to death, which is such a sad and like depressing story. If we look in the court of Belvezar Bolton, just have a look who we've got at the Night's Watch. We have got a couple of people. We've got Theo Bloom, we've got a Lancer, there's quite a lot of people. We've got a Forester, there's a lot of people actually from Andalia in the north. We've got a Malister, Roman Sevenstar, another Bloom. So there's quite a lot of people here. A Crow, another Forester, a Shell. There's a lot of people up on the wall. Corman Josso, the former Lord, of course, of the Crossing. An Oxstar. There's lots of people of massive houses up here. House Wainwood, a Wallard. Over at the Shadow Tower, where we've got a Toolheart ruling. I don't know if there's anybody here that we know. A Florent. There's a Florent on the wall. And at Eastwatch, I don't know if I said Shadow Tower or Eastwatch when I said Shadow Tower, but over at Eastwatch, I'm pretty sure this is where Harbert Redstone is. Benfrey's brother. One of the people who sided with Titus. Still alive and going strong upon the Night's Watch. Still going. Yeah, it really was a sad tale. I know that he died very recently, didn't he, as well, if I remember correctly. If we go to Lyanna and then go to Princess Kyra. Yeah, it was very recent. Died from too much drinking. That's just a horrible story. Obviously, because Queen Jonquill died long before. Something that I know someone asked earlier, I can't remember if it was on the Discord or on the comments section. Someone asked if how many of Enger's bastards were still alive. So let's actually have a look at the Sevenstar family tree. There's been 47 members in total. And there's 17 members left alive. The ones into the Greystar family, the Bolton family, the main family of Enger and all of his children, which is what we're going to look at. Some that married into the Fyrehands, the Blooms. This is the Owenshold branch. There's actually quite a lot of them, isn't there, in the Owen? Sir Ambrose of Owenshold has had a lot of children. Wow. And then Benjicot's had a couple of children as well. Oh, no, of course. Sir Ambrose is Lyanna's husband, wasn't it? They had a lot of children. Wow. But yeah, let's go to Engar. People wanted to know how many of the Engar the Second's bastards were still alive. So, Adara Snow is still alive. So, 1. Ella Snow is still alive, who is the mother of the Royces. So, 2. Jonquill Snow, our aunt, still alive. So, 3. Benfrey, of course. 4. Harbert, 5. Titus, dead. Lady Eleanor Snow, still alive. 6. Rennie Snow, 7. Kyra, dead, of course. PR, 8. Ambrose, dead. Alison, dead. Lady Mage of Flint's Finger, this is Danis Corbury's wife, still alive, so 9. Lyanna, of course, dead. I think I just overcounted then, didn't I? What am I doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, no, 9. Lyanna, dead. Hilario still alive, 10. Felina still alive, 11. Maester Damon still alive, Lady Alex, 12, 13. So 13 of Enger's kids are still alive of Enger the Second's. Many dead, unfortunately. Some married to the Wainwoods. Damon obviously had the Upcliffe families. We've got one married to the Mudds. A lot of them married into really powerful houses. Mudd, Wainwood, Greystark, Aaron, Royce. So yeah, it's crazy how long the House Sevenstar has been, how many members there are now. Ellery Flake. I still miss the Flakes so much. I'm so annoyed that they had to die. Lawrence Flake, I loved this guy. Died of food poisoning not long after the death of Enger the First. Right, so what else have we got to look over? We'll look at the Lannister King quickly. High King Willard of the Westerlands, who's still alive. 50,000 troops, but only because they're split at the minute, because they're at war. Who are they at war against? Attacking Lord Donald of South Shield in Westerland South Shield. Really? It's taking all of that to take this little island. Well, that war's not going to take very long at all, is it? I'm pretty sure that the Red Winds are in charge of... Oh no, the Gardeners are back in charge again. It changes constantly. Dawn is just a complete mess again. The Ironwoods took over, and there was about 6 or 7 branches of them, and now there's like 1 branch again, which is ridiculous. And then the Stormlands, we have Storm King Ronard II of the Stormlands, who, wow, looks like he's been in a bit of a scrape. He's lost his nose, full on Tyrion style there, disfigured completely. And then we still have the Grands as well. Lord Paramount Duncan the Distrustful. Over the sea, there's not. I know people wanted to see old Andalos a little bit. If we go on to kingdom titles, so that I can actually see where Andalos is. Let's have a look what we've got. Then we've got Relore. I think most of them are now Relore lords. Oh no, we've got a House Upton. Oh, nice. Wow. Could we, for lore-wise, make this the original House Upton still back in Andalos, just to bring the Uptons back? We could actually do it with this guy, because he's from Andalos. That would be interesting, because it was such a shame that the Uptons died out so early. Hugo Vale, we've got House Fishwell, who are Andal. So there are still some Andal houses over here, which is interesting. Mother's Valley, where we have Old God House Swan. No idea at all how the hell that happened. Completely random. And yeah, then most of these... oh no, we've got you here. Are these still Silver Eyes? No, the Silver Eyes have now gone from here. And then we've got a Relore worshipper here, and the rest are ruins, which we could maybe colonise at some point to try and get back Andalos. That's definitely something we could do. No, it seems, Rex, that the Silver Eyes over the ocean are gone. We've only got the Silver Eyes of Andalia still remaining. So is there anything you want to check quickly before I end the stream? Anybody? Anything anyone wants to see? I'm getting a bit of a sore throat. The family tree was massive, Migs. I think you must have missed it. It goes on for literally forever if we actually unclick everywhere. And this doesn't include the blue stars and the green stars and the other bastard branches. It literally, that's fully zoomed out as well. I'm literally zoomed out as far as it will allow me to go. The 7-star family tree is just ridiculous. I do love that the Uptons are back. I am now so tempted to bring them back. I really want to bring the Uptons back. I feel like I need to do it. Mark Orson's daughter. We will quickly check that. She has Poor Fighter and Timid. She's only 6 years old though. Got the childhood focus of pride, so she could still turn out pretty decent. Yeah, I think we could definitely do that. Maybe something with Northern Andalos, especially this northern area, because it doesn't look like they've got dragons, so we could maybe conquer. But it's just because some of it is owned by Valyria, and if we go to war with Valyria, we'll obviously get slaughtered. We'll get completely slaughtered. Oh, the Lannisters. You want to see the Lannisters? What, the family tree? Let's go back to them. How many years since Anger the First? It has been 121 years. So a hell of a long time. 123 going from the end of the next episode that's already recorded. Wow, he's had 3 stillborn children, which is not good. And he's got 1 son, Prince Jaime of the West. So there isn't really many Lannisters about. There's 10 living members. Some that married into Muds. Dead. So we have Tywald Lannister here. No Lannisters there. Not Lannisters. Not Lannisters. Not many Lannisters about. Oh, okay. So King Lucan the Just, the previous lord, who was really cool, was actually killed by a dragon, which is really annoying. Oh, I'm getting so annoyed with all the dragon riders coming over to Westeros. We've got another... Oh, it's the same Tywald Lannister. So there's literally... And then Gerald Lannister. There's literally no Lannisters at all. Literally at all. There's Tywald Lannister. Oh, that is literally all Tywald Lannister. So there's Tywald Lannister, Gerald Lannister, and Prince Jaime Lannister. There is no Lannister females for marriages at all for Prince Lister anyway. There's literally nothing. The Grands. Okay, we'll have a quick look at the Grands. Lord Paramount Duncan, the Distrustful. Gonorrhea, he was at the orgy as well. He's got a son, Lord Kellis of the Grandlands, who's married to a Summer Islander, but he's celibate and refusing marriage after his wife died. Sir Ben Grand. Okay, so we've got dark-skinned Grands, which is cool. Stormlands is a mess. What the hell is going on down here? Dawn, a mess as always. I think this is the last Dane. He's not had any children at all. Got the Ironwoods as well as the Wilds. Yeah. Can you make my own custom house? Baxon, a red lion on a yellow background. If you send me a submission in the Discord, it's a lot easier for me, or on a video, and I can look into doing that and creating that character for you. Yeah, no Princess of the West by the looks of it. Religion. I think we looked at that, but we can have another quick look. mainly Faith of the Seven, all over Andalia. Some of the Westlands still old gods. The Crannog men in the north, still old gods. And then obviously beyond the wall, old gods. And then over the sea, it's mainly R'hllor, which is strange. I didn't think we'd have R'hllor back then. I thought most of it would have been Faith of the Seven. Old Town is back with House Hightower again. And they do own most of the Florent lands as well, which is interesting. I think we've got the Red Wind still on the Arbor. Yes, we have. And we've still got the Florents. Yes, we've still got the Florents. What other Reach houses do we have? We still have House Crane. People were asking about the Mandleys earlier, weren't they? The Mandleys are still around in Manderford. House Peak as well, who, wow, took over the Tarlet lands. House Peak are very powerful. The Tarleys don't rule down here for some strange reason, but there are some Tarleys alive, and I'm pretty sure they was in Ghoultown. I could be wrong. I've got a feeling there was a Tarley in Ghoultown. Yes, there is. There's a Tarley in Ghoultown for some reason. Jeffrey Tarlet. A Tarley might not be a mad marriage. It's a little bit south, but considering there are some in the north, the Yeti Stormlander Queen, it's no longer the Queen. She's been usurped by her uncle, Storm King Ronard. Okay, another person goodbye dragon. I'm not sure whereabouts, what line she was from. If we look at the Stormlands and go for the claimants, that might be the best. Oh, apparently there is no claimant. History. We can go on the history to find her. Here she is. Princess Sarissa, who, interesting, is with Lord Denis the Wise. That's worrying. What's he doing with a Stormlander princess? House Rowan. I'm pretty sure House Rowan are still around. I just don't know if they're where they're meant to be. House Fossaway. They're still here. Oakheart still around. I don't know if House Oakheart again. Aren't House Rowan normally up here somewhere? Yeah, Golden Grove. No, it looks like House Rowan aren't around anymore. Have they died out? Or are there some Oakheart, some Cranes, Crate Court? It looks like House Rowan may have died out. So, yeah, we've got the trio, we've got the Pirate Religion, the Mother Royna still going strong. Faith of the... What is all this Faith of the... Wow. No idea how this has happened. All of Valyria is mainly Faith of the Seven, as well as Slaver's Bay. What and how? That makes literally no sense. Some of Mother Royna is, even though it's died out here. How the hell did Faith of the Seven get down here? I've got no idea how Faith of the Seven has got down into Slaver's Bay and Valyria. That makes no sense. And my god, it's just started. Oh, House of Acar own Marine, which is interesting. It's just started absolutely chucking it down outside. So I'm sorry if you can hear that. The rain is really, really pouring. Yeah, we'll have a quick look at Lister's friends then, and then I'm going to end... Wow, he's got 5 friends now, and 1 rival, Roman Sevenstar. His cousin, his friends are Darnold Crownless, Lucas Malister, Pyron Seymour, Murabald Rack, and Giran Harlaw. Yeah, that is pretty cursed. Very, very cursed. I don't know how that's happened. But I am now going to end the stream, guys. So thank you all for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any further questions, come and ask me in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord yet and you're watching the stream series, why the hell are you not in the Discord yet? Get your ass over to the Discord server. You'll absolutely love it. We've got a great community there. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys, so much. And hopefully I'll see you all very soon.